the Earth reveals its deep past through ancient rock layers. But now their traces lie deep in a place. That place, time is not measured by clocks, but by the slow breathing of the planet itself. Close your eyes. Take a slow, deep breath and feel the air moving through you, gentle and steady, like the way the Earth itself seems to breathe through its mountains and oceans. Beneath your feet, the ground is not still. It hums with quiet motion, shifting and shaping itself over ages. The crust beneath us moves at the pace of eternity, yet every grain of sand and every stone tells a story written across time. This is the whisper of the Earth, soft and constant, a reminder that even silence can speak if you learn to listen. Geology is the ancient language of our planet. Every rock carries a memory, a moment frozen from 1 billion years ago, somewhere deep below the surface. Crystals form in perfect darkness. Volcanoes dream beneath their quiet slopes, and rivers carve the land with patient grace. The stones you walk on are older than mountains, older than trees, older than any words spoken by humankind. Through them, the Earth remembers who it was and who it is becoming. To study geology is to listen to the Earth's diary, written in layers of sand, pressure, and time. But geology is not just science. It is movement. It breathes. It shifts. It transforms itself in endless rhythm. What we call rock is alive in its own slow heartbeat. When you sit by a canyon and hear the wind sweep through the hollow walls, you are hearing time itself pass. When the sunset glows against the red sandstone cliffs, you are watching minerals catching the last light of the day, holding it for a brief eternal second. Tonight, let your mind wander with the calm pulse of the planet. Let the rhythm of the Earth guide you into rest. If you love the quiet beauty of this living world, leave a like, subscribe to Cosmic Sleep Science, and drift into the gentle dream of ancient stones and timeless calm. The story of geology begins not on Earth, but in the stars. Every atom in the rocks beneath your feet was once part of something far greater, born in the fiery cores of ancient suns. When those stars reached the end of their lives, they exploded, scattering dust and light into the cold sea of space. Out of that dust came iron, silicon, oxygen, and carbon, the basic elements that would one day form this planet. When you hold a stone in your hand, you are touching a fragment of that cosmic history. A piece of starlight cooled into form. The weight of a rock is the weight of memory, pressed together over billions of years, shaped by gravity and time, long before oceans or mountains existed. The early Earth was a molten sphere, glowing with heat, wrapped in swirling clouds of gas and metal. Slowly, as the planet cooled, its surface hardened into a crust, thin and fragile compared to the vast molten heart beneath. Rain began to fall, perhaps for the first time. And for millions of years, the rain did not stop. Oceans gathered in deep basins, steam rose and returned as water again, and the first waves touched the first shore. The continents were still drifting, newborn fragments of land that floated on slow rivers of molten stone. The planet was breathing for the first time, inhaling and exhaling through its tectonic plates. Each layer of rock beneath us is a page in the planet's book. Sedimentary rocks tell of ancient rivers that carried sand and shells across forgotten plains. Igneous rocks whisper of volcanoes that once glowed under alien skies. Metamorphic rocks remember the pressure of mountains rising and collapsing again. Together, they form a language written in layers, a story that only time can write. The slow dance of magma and erosion, of uplift and decay, is the heartbeat of the planet. In every grain of sand lies a journey from mountain to sea and back again. This is the geologic cycle, a loop without end. Magma becomes solid rock, mountains rise, rain falls, rivers carve, and sediments settle. Those sediments are buried, pressed by the weight of the world. and turned into stone once more. Deep within the earth, heat and pressure transformed them again, and they melt back into magma, beginning the cycle anew. It is a rhythm so slow that no living creature can see it complete, yet it continues, as constant as the pulse of a sleeping world. Deep time is the silent witness to it all. While human life flickers for a heartbeat, geology measures time in the language of billions. Mountains rise in what we call forever and vanish before the stars notice. Fossils are quiet ghosts of vanished seas, reminders that everything changes. Everything returns to the earth. 1,000 years is a sigh. 1,000,000 is a breath, and 1,000,000,000 is the closing of an eye. This is why rocks bring calm, because they remind us of scale, of patience, of the beauty in waiting. When we look at a canyon wall, we are seeing layers of light and time pressed together. When we touch a pebble by the river, we are feeling the echo of stars long gone. The same minerals that shine in the night sky also glitter beneath the soil. In the crystals of quartz and feldspar, the universe is repeating itself, folding energy into stillness. The rock is not lifeless, it is resting, keeping the memory of heat and movement deep within. Imagine a camera descending through the layers of the earth. It passes through soil and stone, through fossilized forests and veins of iron. It enters the mantle, where magma flows like honey, glowing with slow fire. Light reflects on molten minerals that shimmer like distant constellations. Deeper still, the outer core moves in waves of liquid metal, generating the magnetic field that shelters all life above. At the center lies the inner core, dense and silent, glowing faintly with the leftover heat of creation. This is the heart of the planet, beating beneath everything, patient and eternal. To understand geology is to meditate on existence itself. It reminds us that change is natural, that endings are only beginnings in disguise. Rocks teach us that destruction and creation are one motion, that even the hardest stone is only temporary. The same pressure that breaks a mountain also forms a diamond. The same erosion that destroys a cliff feeds the river that gives life to the valley below. In the endless balance between fire and water, the earth finds harmony. So as you listen now, let the idea settle into you. You are made of the same dust as the stones. The same starlight that shaped them flows through your veins. You belong to the same story, written across galaxies and eons. Feel the quiet weight of that truth. Feel the calm of knowing that nothing is lost, only changed. Like the rocks, you too are part of the great cycle of time. If this journey through the memory of rocks brings you peace, leave a like, subscribe to Cosmic Sleep Science, and let the rhythm of the cosmos carry you into rest. The universe is still speaking through the stones, and tonight, it whispers softly, telling you that everything, even time itself, is at peace. The earth moves so slowly that we almost forget it is alive. Beneath the crust of soil and ocean, massive plates are drifting, inch by inch, in a rhythm as ancient as time itself. These tectonic plates shift only a few centimeters each year, almost the same speed as your fingernails grow. It is motion so gentle, yet it shapes mountains, opens oceans, and changes the face of the planet. Deep beneath, magma flows like warm breath, pressing upward and spreading the continents apart. Where two plates meet, they collide and lift the ground, creating mountain ranges that rise like the inhalation of a sleeping world. When they drift apart, the ocean floor stretches and deepens, as if the planet exhales again. This is the heartbeat of geology, a slow and steady pulse that never stops. Imagine standing before the Himalayas, their snow peaks shining under the early sun. What you see is not stillness, but the deep inhale of the earth. The collision between India and Asia pushes these mountains higher every year. In another part of the world, near the Pacific Ocean, plates slide beneath one another, releasing the planet's quiet sigh through earthquakes and volcanic fire. The same energy that makes the ground tremble also makes life possible. The Earth recycles itself through destruction and creation. Through pressure and release, what seems chaotic is only part of its breathing. When you watch a volcano erupt, you are witnessing an exhale. When you see new islands form, you are watching it take a breath of renewal. Science tells us that this movement never stops. Even as we sleep, continents drift. The Atlantic Ocean widens every year. The Pacific narrows, and the mountains grow or erode. Over millions of years, the face of the Earth transforms completely. Continents merge and part again like waves in slow motion. Oceans appear and vanish. Islands rise and sink beneath the water. This motion is not random. It follows laws of heat, gravity, and balance. The molten mantle below us acts like the planet's bloodstream, carrying energy from the core to the surface. Each eruption, each quake, each shift of land is a breath that keeps the planet alive. To think of Earth as breathing is to remember that stillness is never absolute. Even what looks silent holds movement within it. The ground is alive in its own rhythm, and that rhythm has kept the planet balanced for billions of years. When you sit quietly and listen to the wind, the waves, or the rustle of leaves, you are hearing the echo of that breath. The planet is speaking in the language of motion, not in words, but in vibration. If you could slow down time, you would see the continents inhale and exhale, like the chest of a living being. Let this image calm your mind. The next time you feel the ground under your feet, remember that you are standing on something that breathes. It is ancient, patient, and endlessly in motion. The same breath that moves the mountains has been flowing since the beginning of time. To breathe with the earth is to find balance. To remember that even slow change is still life unfolding. When you rest tonight, imagine yourself drifting with the tectonic plates, slow and steady, floating in the deep rhythm of the planet. Stones tell stories. Long before we had written words, the Earth was already recording its history. Every stone is a storyteller, holding within it a quiet memory of fire, water, and time. When you touch a rock, you are touching a surface that has seen the rise of oceans, the fall of mountains, and the passing of entire species. In a single grain of sand lies the story of a mountain ground down by rivers and winds. Each stone is an archive, written in texture and color. In minerals and lines, the world's libraries may burn, but the stones will keep their stories forever. Across cultures, people have listened to these silent storytellers. The Inca believed stones carried the souls of their gods. They built temples of precisely cut rock, fitting each block so perfectly that even time could not break them apart. The Japanese place stones called ishi in their Zen gardens, where they represent stillness and eternity. Each stone is chosen with care, a symbol of the beauty and balance. The Egyptians raised pyramids from limestone and granite, believing that by building with stone, they were capturing eternity itself. These monuments still stand, whispering across the desert winds. Through all of history, humans have turned to stone when they wish to speak to time. Science shows us that stones are not lifeless. They are records of transformation. Basalt speaks of volcanic birth, sandstone of ancient seas, marble of pressure and patience. Even the pebbles on a beach tell a story of movement, of being carried by waves, shaped smooth by time. When you pick up a stone, you are holding the weight of the world's history, compressed into your palm. Some stones contain fossils, silent echoes of lives long vanished. Others hold crystals that formed when the earth was young. Imagine walking through a canyon at sunset. The walls glow with shades of red and gold, and each layer tells a story. You can almost hear the wind as it moves through the cracks, carrying whispers of ancient rain. Somewhere far below, Water once flowed, carving the path you now walk. The stone remembers every drop. If you close your eyes, you can feel that memory, quiet and vast. To touch stone is to connect with time. It teaches patience, resilience, and calm. It reminds us that what endures is not what resists change, but what moves with it. The next time you hold a stone, breathe with it. Let its silence slow your heartbeat. Let it remind you that you are also made of the same elements, the same dust, the same memory of stars. Stones tell stories, and tonight, they tell you to rest. Crystals of stillness, deep inside the earth, where heat and pressure meet in perfect balance. Crystals are born. They grow slowly, atom by atom, forming shapes of flawless symmetry. Salt, quartz, diamond, snowflake. Each follows its own pattern, each a perfect reflection of natural order. No hand designs them, yet they emerge with precision beyond human art. Science explains that atoms arrange themselves according to the quiet laws of physics. They repeat, align, and solidify into beauty. From silence comes structure. From stillness comes perfection. Crystals are nature's mandalas. They are patterns of calm, frozen music made visible. Every face of a crystal reflects the light that once moved through the earth. When light passes through, it bends and scatters, creating color and glow. In that moment, science and poetry become one. The order of molecules becomes the art of the universe. When snow falls, every flake forms a design unique yet symmetrical, a fleeting sculpture of water and cold air. When diamonds form, they grow in total darkness, where heat and pressure create clarity. To hold a crystal is to hold stillness itself. It reminds us that harmony does not come from movement, but from quiet balance. Within the structure of a crystal, there is no haste, no confusion, only patience, order, and peace. Every line and angle is the result of time waiting for perfection. Even the smallest crystal holds the memory of the forces that shaped it, a silent meditation in solid form. Imagine a beam of light traveling through a clear crystal. It bends, changes color, and glows softly. In slow motion, it feels like time has stopped. The air seems to hum with quiet sound, as if the earth is chanting through light. Crystals capture the stillness of nature, yet they are never lifeless. They vibrate with the same frequency that holds atoms together, the same energy that sustains the universe. When you look at a crystal, you are seeing order born from chaos. You are witnessing peace taking shape. Science calls it structure, but in truth, it is meditation in matter. Just as the human mind can find calm through focus, the earth finds calm through the symmetry of crystals. Each one is a breath made solid, a reminder that even the smallest moment of stillness can create beauty that lasts forever. Let the vision of light through crystal ease your thoughts. Let it remind you that calm is not the absence of change, but the perfect form of it. In the heart of silence, life arranges itself into meaning. Tonight, let that stillness surround you. Let it settle into your breath and your heartbeat. And as you drift into sleep, remember that somewhere deep within the earth, crystals are still growing, patiently, quietly, beautifully, holding the memory of peace, the hidden pulse of minerals. Minerals are the silent architects of civilization. Every tool, every building, every device that connects one mind to another has its foundation in the secret structure of minerals. Beneath the soil and rock, within veins of metal and crystal, the planet hides its energy and its gifts. Iron, copper, lithium, gold, and rare earth elements form the unseen bones of modern life. Without them, there would be no electricity flowing through cities, no light in the dark, No quiet hum of technology linking one heart to another. The pulse of our world begins not in the circuits of machines, but in the mineral veins of the earth. When we mine a mountain or dig into the crust, we are reaching into the planet's memory. Each mineral grew under immense pressure and heat, formed over millions of years in chambers of silence, deep inside the earth. Atoms aligned in perfect order, forming structures strong enough to shape civilizations. The first sparks of human progress began when we learned to melt copper and iron, to shape tools and build shelters. Those ancient fires were lit by the breath of minerals, and that flame has never gone out. Even today, in the heart of every computer chip, in every solar panel, in every electric car, minerals are still whispering their quiet energy into motion. Science tells us that minerals are not random. They are born from balance, from the steady flow of heat and chemical change. Some formed in the cooling crust, others condensed from the gases of the early Earth. In each, there is order and purpose, an echo of the planet's structure. Quartz vibrates with steady rhythm, used to keep time. Graphite carries current, linking electrons like threads of light. Lithium, resting deep in ancient salt flats, holds the charge that moves our future. The minerals beneath our feet are not lifeless. They are the heartbeat of progress, hidden under layers of stone, waiting to be understood. Imagine standing in a cavern where light reflects off crystal walls. The air is cool and still, but you can sense energy beneath the surface. Each mineral glows faintly, absorbing and releasing light as if breathing. The walls shimmer like the inner organs of the earth, alive in their own rhythm. The sound of your footsteps echoes softly, joining a deeper vibration, a hum that seems to rise from the core. This is the hidden pulse of minerals, the slow, steady sound of the planet living from within. To know minerals is to see the unity between the natural and the human. They remind us that every piece of technology, every structure of comfort, is born from the patience of the earth. What we call progress is only the earth reshaping itself through our hands. When we use these gifts with respect, we continue a story that began billions of years ago. When we forget that connection, the balance trembles. The earth does not punish, it only reminds. It speaks through scarcity, through heat, through silence. The pulse slows, and we remember that we are borrowing the heart of the planet. So as you rest, imagine that pulse beneath you, deep and calm, carrying energy through the stone. It beats quietly, a rhythm that has never stopped since the birth of the world. You are part of that pulse, made from the same minerals, sharing the same light. Feel the calm of that connection, and let the quiet strength of the earth hold you in peace. Earth's silent watchers. All across the planet, silent watchers are listening. Hidden in forests, floating in oceans, orbiting far above the sky. Thousands of sensors trace the breath of the earth. They record every vibration, every tremor, every whisper of change. Seismographs mark the pulse of earthquakes. Satellites read the slow tilt of continents and the melting of glaciers. Deep ocean sensors listen to the murmurs of tectonic plates. Each instrument is a bridge between human awareness and the planet's movements. Through them, we hear what was once beyond hearing. Science has built a network of awareness that circles the Earth. Every day, data flows like rivers of light, carrying signals from deserts, volcanoes, and polar ice. These measurements are more than numbers. They are stories written by the planet in the language of movement. A slight vibration in Japan may echo beneath Chile. A shift in ice near Greenland may ripple through rising seas in distant lands. The watchers do not sleep. They record, analyze, and translate the whispers of the earth into warnings and wisdom. Thanks to these silent guardians, we can see what once was invisible. Before, an earthquake struck without warning. Now, Sensors detect its approach, satellites trace its shadow, and computers translate it into alerts that save lives. The same technology watches landslides, storms, and even the gentle rise of the oceans. The planet speaks in signs, and now we understand. This knowledge is not just scientific, it is deeply human. It reminds us that we are part of the same living system. Imagine the Earth slowly turning in space, covered in lines of light. Each glowing thread is a signal, a heartbeat from a sensor watching below. The continents glow softly under a web of awareness, as if the planet itself is wrapped in gentle energy. You can almost see the data moving, shimmering like veins of light under the skin of the world. In that vision, science becomes meditation. The watchers are not machines. They are the planet's new nerves, its way of sensing itself through us. The data they collect tells not only of the present, but also of the future. By studying the rhythm of the Earth, we glimpse what is to come. The slow drift of heat under the ocean floor, the gentle expansion of deserts, the quiet rise of temperature in the air. These are not threats. They are messages. The planet is speaking, not to frighten us, but to invite us to listen, to live with balance again. In this silence, there is beauty. The watchers hum softly, their signals blending with the deep frequencies of the planet. Together, they form a song of awareness, a melody that joins human curiosity with natural rhythm. When you sleep tonight, imagine that sound surrounding you, soft and steady, the heartbeat of the Earth being listened to by thousands of silent watchers who never stop caring. The story of geology does not end on Earth. It stretches outward, across the vast sea of stars, where other worlds hold their own ancient rocks and mountains. The same processes that shaped our planet have worked in silence across the cosmos. On Mars, a volcano named Olympus Mons rises taller than any mountain on Earth, its slopes shaped by fire that burned millions of years ago. On the Moon, the dark plains we see from Earth are ancient seas of lava, cooled into stillness long before life began here. On Europa, a moon of Jupiter, a crust of ice hides a deep ocean, moving and shifting under frozen light. Each of these worlds is alive in its own rhythm, breathing in cosmic time. Science connects them all through geology. The same minerals found in Earth's crust are scattered across asteroids and planets. The same iron, silicon, and carbon that built our stones also built the surfaces of Mars and Mercury. The same forces of pressure and heat shape both our world and theirs. When we study rocks from space, we are reading another chapter of the same book. The universe writes in minerals, not in words. Philosophy meets science when we realize that every rock in the cosmos shares one origin. All were born from stars that lived, burned, and died. When a star explodes, it sends its elements across the universe, seeds for new planets and new life. Earth, Mars, and the distant moons are siblings in this cosmic family. What we call geology is the memory of that family, preserved in stone. Imagine drifting in space, looking down at the planets turning slowly in their silent paths. The light of distant suns glows on surfaces of ice and dust. You can almost see the same patterns that shape the Earth repeating there. Craters, mountains, plains, and valleys. Silence, but full of motion. Stillness, but filled with story. Every rock, everywhere, remembers where it came from. If there were a geologist from another world, they would understand us without a single word. They would look at the mountains, the minerals, the volcanoes, and see the same processes they know on their own planet. They would know our history by the tilt of our crust, by the shimmer of our crystals, by the rhythm of our tides. The language of geology is universal. It is written not for humans, but for the cosmos itself. When you gaze at the night sky, remember that it is made of the same elements as the ground beneath you. You are not separate from the stars. You are made from their dust, shaped by their gravity, warmed by their light. To touch a rock is to touch the universe. To listen to the earth is to hear the echo of the stars. So let your thoughts drift into that vast silence. Feel the calm of knowing that everything, from the smallest grain of sand to the largest mountain, is part of one great pattern. The cosmos and the earth are one story told through time. Tonight, as you rest, let that connection fill you with peace. You are a fragment of starlight, a piece of cosmic geology, and the universe is still breathing through you. The universe speaks in the quiet language of stone and dust and silence. When we look beyond our blue planet, we begin to see that every world carries a story written in its crust. Its mountains, its valleys, its scars. Mars bears the mark of volcanoes higher than anything on Earth. A red wound frozen in time. Venus shimmers beneath its thick atmosphere, hiding continents of cracked rock that shift like restless dreams. The moon wears the memory of countless impacts. Each crater a soft whisper from a time when the universe was young and fierce. Even distant worlds like Europa and Titan hold frozen oceans and strange landscapes that remind us that geology is not only an earthly truth, it is a cosmic one. Every planet breathes through its land, sighs through its dust, and keeps its history folded in layers of stone. When we listen to the earth, we hear not only its voice but echoes from beyond. The minerals beneath our feet are the same that once floated in the hearts of dying stars. Iron in our blood was born in supernovae. Calcium in our bones once blazed in the light of ancient suns. And carbon in every breath we take was scattered through the galaxy before finding a home in this small blue world. The ground we walk on is made from cosmic ash, cooled and gathered over billions of years, shaped by gravity and time into the mountains and valleys we know. To study geology is to trace our ancestry not to kingdoms or species, but to the stars themselves. Every rock carries within it a pulse of something eternal, a record of light turned into matter, of fire turned into form. There is something deeply human about looking at a rock and feeling the weight of time. It grounds us, yet also sets us free. The slow rhythm of erosion, the quiet patience of crystal growth, the calm persistence of mountains rising and falling, all mirror something in our own nature. We too are shaped slowly, layer by layer, by experiences that settle and harden, by pressures that transform us into something stronger and more complex. The Earth's story is a reflection of our own becoming. When we touch the soil, we touch what we are made of. When we gaze at the stars, we recognize what we once were. There is no separation between the observer and the observed, only a long continuum of matter remembering itself through us. In this quiet understanding, geology becomes more than a science. It becomes a form of meditation, the shifting of continents, the carving of rivers, the birth of crystals. All happen without rush or demand. The universe teaches stillness through stone, balance through gravity, humility through time. To sit beside a rock is to sit beside eternity, and to realize that the same atoms forming that rock once drifted freely in the darkness before the first light. The Earth is a being of transformation, and we are its latest thought, a fleeting spark of awareness passing through the vastness of its age. When you imagine the surface of Mars, cold and red under a thin sky, you can sense how silence itself has texture. The dust there holds no footsteps, no rivers, only wind and memory. On Europa, beneath its icy crust, dark oceans move unseen, perhaps whispering with chemical beginnings of life. On Titan, methane rain shapes landscapes alien yet familiar, a distant cousin of the water cycle we know. Each world carries its own breath, its own rhythm, And if we listen closely, we hear in them the same patterns of birth and decay, stillness and motion, that echo across the cosmos. The study of geology becomes a form of listening, not to words, but to the deep music of matter itself. We often think of the universe as distant, yet its fingerprints are on everything we touch. The sparkle of quartz in sunlight, the shimmer of mica in a mountain stream, the hardness of diamond, all are echoes of cosmic order written in crystal form. The symmetry of these structures is the same principle that governs galaxies and orbits and atoms. The universe does not separate the grand from the small. What it writes in starlight, it repeats in stone. Through these patterns, we begin to sense the unity of existence, the quiet truth that everything is connected through time and transformation. Sometimes at night, when the sky is clear, the stars seem motionless. But the truth is that everything is moving. Planets drift, asteroids wander, mountains rise, and even the continents shift beneath our feet. The universe is not still. It only moves slowly enough for us to forget its dance. In that slowness lies peace, the same peace you feel when you watch waves roll onto the shore, or clouds slide across the horizon. It is the same rhythm that moves through stone, through life, through thought. Every moment of calm carries within it the pulse of an ancient motion, quiet and eternal. There is comfort in knowing that change is natural. The rocks that crumble become soil. The mountains that erode feed the rivers. The stars that die give birth to new light. Nothing is lost, only transformed. Even we, when our time ends, return to the same cycle, becoming part of the earth again, part of the stars again. To see geology through this lens is to see death not as an ending, but as continuation. The stone teaches us that permanence is not stillness, but flow. The mountain appears solid, yet it moves. The rock feels eternal, yet it changes. Life is no different. Perhaps this is the great lesson of cosmic geology, that existence itself is both fragile and enduring, that we are made from ancient dust and yet capable of thought, that the same universe which forged mountains also forged minds. When we dream, we do not escape nature, we express it. Our imagination is the next phase of the universe's evolution, the mineral world learning to reflect. When we build cities, carve stone, write poetry, we are continuing the work of the cosmos, shaping matter into meaning. So when we look at the night sky, we are not looking out, but inward. Every light we see is a reminder of our own origin. The atoms in our hands once burned in those distant flames. The stars and the stones are family, and the silence between them is not emptiness, but connection. The earth turns slowly, carrying us through the quiet of space, surrounded by the hum of invisible forces that have always been here. And somewhere within that silence, if you listen long enough, you can hear it, the steady breathing of the universe, the same breath that moves through the wind, through the oceans, through us. Humans are minerals that learn to dream. The stars became conscious through our eyes. The mountains began to speak through our words. The oceans began to feel through our hearts. We are the earth remembering itself, and the cosmos awakening through awareness. To live is to participate in the story of geology, to be both the stone and the dreamer, the silence and the song. And when the fire burns low and the night grows quiet, you can close your eyes and feel the warmth of the earth beneath you. It has carried you since the beginning, and it will carry you long after. The heartbeat you hear within your chest is not only yours, it is the echo of the first pulse of creation, the rhythm that turns galaxies and folds mountains, the eternal breath of the living cosmos continuing, slow, patient, and endlessly calm. The story of the earth is never still. Even now, as we build our cities and stretch our roads across continents, a new layer is forming beneath us. It is the layer of our age, thin but unmistakable, a record of human presence pressed quietly into the skin of the planet. Every piece of concrete, every shard of glass, every fragment of plastic is drifting slowly downward, joining the dust of the mountains and the ash of volcanoes. In 1,000 years, perhaps in 1,000,000, this layer will harden into rock. Future beings, whoever they are, will find it and wonder about us. They will see traces of metal, of carbon, of strange synthetic compounds, and they will know that this was the time when Earth began to dream in machines. This new stratum we create is called the Anthropocene by many scientists. It is the age when human hands have shaped geology itself. We have moved more soil and stone than all the rivers combined, changed the course of mountains, and melted the edges of glaciers that have stood for millennia. Yet this power is not simply destruction. It is awareness becoming visible in matter. We have reached a moment when the Earth is observing itself through human eyes, and the decisions we make echo through the layers being written beneath our feet. If you could look down from space, the surface of the planet would shimmer with activity. Cities glow like constellations. Ships carve bright paths across the oceans. Forests breathe slower than they used to. Deserts stretch their fingers wider. And above it all, the atmosphere swirls with currents of warmth and moisture that have begun to shift in rhythm. The planet is still alive, still breathing, but its pulse is changing. The glaciers that once guarded the poles are melting, releasing ancient air into the sky. Rivers that once carved slow paths now flood or vanish within seasons. The balance of water, wind, and temperature is learning a new song. Geology has always been the story of change, but never before has it happened so quickly. In the span of one human lifetime, coastlines have moved, coral reefs have bleached, and permafrost has softened. The map of Earth that we carry in our minds no longer matches the one being drawn each year by satellites. Yet in this vast transformation, there is also beauty. To witness change is to be alive within time itself. The ice that melts becomes water that feeds new growth. The soil that erodes finds new forms of fertility downstream. Even the most fragile ecosystems adapt, finding balance in motion. Scientists use instruments that feel almost like extensions of the planet's senses. Thousands of satellites drift in quiet orbits, watching the Earth as it turns. They see the rise of ocean levels in millimeters, the tremble of mountains before an earthquake, the faint flicker of temperature that signals a storm. Sensors buried in the ground record every vibration, every sigh of the crust as it shifts beneath our cities. Artificial intelligence listens to these patterns, learning to recognize the Earth's moods. For the first time, our technology allows the planet to speak in data, and for us to listen in real time. Imagine the world as an orchestra of motion and energy. Rivers flow like deep cellos, winds hum like violins. The magma moves with the slow rhythm of drums. For ages, this orchestra played without audience. Now humanity sits within it, holding microphones, translating the song into numbers and colors and graphs. Yet the music has always been there, endless and patient. What we call progress is simply learning to hear more clearly what the Earth has been saying all along. The challenge before us is to remember that we are not separate from this orchestra. We are not the conductors, only the newest instruments. The metal in our machines came from ancient mountains. The energy in our cities is borrowed from sunlight stored in fossil layers deep below. The water we drink has passed through countless cycles, from cloud to glacier to ocean to rain. Even the air we breathe carries traces of volcanic eruptions older than our species. When we forget these connections, we begin to act like a flame consuming its own fuel. But when we remember, something softens. We realize that to care for the planet is not a duty to something outside us, but an act of self-preservation, of gratitude. Climate change is the name we give to a symptom of imbalance. The Earth is not angry. It is responding. The warmth we feel, the shifting of seasons, the storms that come sooner, are all signals of a system seeking new equilibrium. The planet has survived extinctions, collisions, and ice ages far greater than anything we can imagine. But the world we know, the one of forests and oceans and familiar skies, is fragile. It depends on balance, on cycles repeating with gentle precision. Our task is not to stop change, but to move with it wisely, to guide it with awareness rather than fear. In many places, the signs are visible. Ice cores drilled from Antarctica reveal trapped bubbles of ancient air, showing us the slow heartbeat of climate across hundreds of thousands of years. Coral reefs record the chemistry of oceans like living diaries. Tree rings hold stories of drought and abundance. Each of these is a geological archive, a library written in nature's handwriting. When scientists read them, they are reading the planet's memory. And within that memory, we find reminders of resilience. Every past age of transformation has given birth to renewal. Modern geology is not only about rocks and strata, it is about understanding systems that breathe and evolve. When satellites capture images of melting glaciers, they are not only documenting loss, they are tracing new rivers, new lakes, new patterns of migration. When sensors detect volcanic tremors, they also remind us that the Earth is creative, always building, always releasing pressure in order to continue. Beneath every destruction, there is a process of balance-seeking expression. Technology, once seen as separate from nature, now becomes a bridge between us and the planet. Artificial intelligence models predict floods before they happen, helping people prepare and save lives. Remote sensors measure soil health to protect crops. Machines dive deep into oceans where sunlight cannot reach, mapping worlds of coral and mineral that we have never touched. In this way, technology is not the enemy of the Earth, but a form of its own evolution. Through our hands, the planet has extended its senses, has learned to watch itself. Yet even with all our instruments and data, the Earth still invites us to listen in simpler ways, to walk barefoot on cool soil after rain, to feel the weight of a stone in our palm, to hear the wind move across the trees. These are also forms of communication, quieter but no less profound. In the stillness of such moments, we remember what all our machines cannot measure, that the world is alive and that we belong to it. Plastic, metal, and glass may form the surface of our civilization, but beneath them, the old Earth waits, calm and unhurried. The rocks below cities are unchanged by noise or ambition. They feel the vibrations of trains and footsteps, but they keep their patience. Deep time moves too slowly to be disturbed. When we forget this, the Earth gently reminds us through silence. Mountains erode, oceans shift, and still the planet continues, unconcerned with hurry. This patience is a lesson. It tells us that not everything must move fast to have meaning. Perhaps the greatest gift geology offers today is perspective, the awareness that our lives, however busy, exist within a vast and ancient rhythm. The same processes that shaped continents are shaping us. The same minerals that form crystals form our bones. The same cycles that turn mountains into sand also turn thoughts into wisdom. If we can feel this rhythm, even for a moment, anxiety begins to fade. The world becomes quieter, and we find ourselves breathing in harmony with something much larger. There is comfort in knowing that long after we are gone, the Earth will continue its slow work. Our cities will crumble into dust, our machines will rust into soil, and our signals will fade into silence. But the rocks will remember. The layers we leave behind will tell stories of light and movement, of curiosity and creation. They will not judge, only record. And perhaps, in that future age, another form of life will read our traces and understand that once, for a brief time, the planet dreamed through us. So let us dream gently. Let us build with respect for the ground that holds us. Let us learn again to move at the pace of rivers, to grow like trees, to rest like stone. The earth is not asking for perfection. It is asking for attention. When we give it, even in small moments, the noise of the modern world softens. The sound of engines fades, and underneath it we can hear the slow hum of the planet, steady and enduring. Though the climate shifts and the seas rise, there is still hope. Hope in the adaptability of life, in the wisdom of cycles, in the patience of rock. Each sunrise is proof that renewal is possible. Each drop of rain is a message of balance returning. When we plant a tree, when we protect a river, when we simply breathe with awareness, we are shaping the next layer of the earth, one of care and understanding rather than neglect. In the quiet of the night, when cities sleep and the stars emerge, imagine the world turning below you. Beneath the oceans and forests and lights, the crust moves slowly, imperceptibly, adjusting itself. The mantle flows like thick honey. The core pulses with heat that has not faded since the birth of the planet. The earth continues its ancient meditation, unbroken by our noise. To remember this is to find peace. And as the storyteller's voice softens by the fire, there remains one simple truth. No matter how much we change the surface, no matter how loud the machines become, the heart of the earth beats on. It waits, patient and enduring, for us to listen again, to slow down, and to feel the rhythm that has always been there. The rocks beneath us do not hurry. The soil does not rush. The mountains do not speak. Yet they teach. In their silence, they remind us of our place, small but sacred, within the long, unfolding story of a planet that has always known how to heal. Geology is more than the study of stones. It is the slow breathing of the planet, the gentle rhythm that continues beneath every storm and every silence. Each rock beneath us carries a memory. Each grain of sand whispers a part of time that no one remembers. When we pause to listen, the hum of the earth begins to align with the pulse inside our chest. The story of geology is not a tale of distance or cold science. It is a reminder that we belong to the same rhythm that shaped mountains and softened seas. Everything we are has once been a part of the world's deep memory. The calcium in our bones once settled in shells at the bottom of an ancient sea. The iron in our blood once burned inside a star before falling through space to rest in the soil. Even the oxygen we breathe has cycled through leaves, clouds, and the breath of countless living forms. To understand geology is to understand that we are not separate from the earth. We are a continuation of it, a brief awakening in the long dream of stone and water. Imagine lying down on the quiet ground, feeling the faint vibration that moves through the surface. Beneath you are layers of time, pressed together by patience. You can almost sense the slow current of magma moving miles below, the deep warmth that never fades. You can imagine rivers carving through valleys, glaciers smoothing stone into soft curves, and continents drifting like ancient thoughts across the ocean. The planet does not hurry. It knows how to wait. And in its waiting, it teaches us the peace of slowness. If you close your eyes now, let your breath match the calm rhythm of the planet. Each inhale feels like the ocean rising. Each exhale feels like the tide retreating. The boundaries between your body and the earth dissolve, and you begin to realize that you have never truly been apart from it. The rocks, the soil, the sea, the wind, and your very heartbeat are all movements of the same ancient energy. What geology teaches us is not only the age of the planet, but the eternity that exists in every quiet moment of awareness. So as you drift towards sleep, Imagine yourself resting in the ancient arms of the Earth. The planet turns slowly in the dark, surrounded by stars that once forged the dust you are made of. There is no rush, no noise, no weight of tomorrow. Only the deep silence of time and the comfort of belonging to something vast and kind. Let the sound of your breath be a soft echo of the wind moving through mountains. Let your thoughts settle like sand at the bottom of a still lake. You are home, not just on the surface of the planet, but within its story. You are the dust of stars, the whisper of rivers, the memory of stone. As the night deepens, the Earth continues its quiet spin, patient and eternal. Sleep gently now, in the timeless cradle of geology, where every rock is a witness and every breath is a part of creation. If you are still awake, take a calm breath and feel the slow rhythm of the planet beneath you. If these gentle facts about geology have helped you unwind, you can subscribe to Cosmic Sleep Science. Here, every night we travel through the peaceful wonders of Earth and the universe, softly, slowly, until sleep arrives like the quiet drift of ancient sand.